Bitcoin just closed the CME gap, and the charts are showing us something big is brewing. Ethereum continues to see billions in demand from treasuries. Solana is proving its adaptability. And tokenization, led by Ondo and Chainlink, might be the most powerful narrative in crypto's future. Today, we're pulling it all together. The latest price action, what it means for Bitcoin, how Ethereum, Solana, and altcoins fit in, and the macro trends that could define the next leg of this bull run. Let's dive in. Let's start with Bitcoin, because everything begins here. Just days ago, Bitcoin dropped to around 117,500. For some, that looked scary. But in reality, it was one of the healthiest moves we could ask for. Why? It closed the CME gap, a price discrepancy that often acts like a magnet for Bitcoin. Now that gap is gone, the path forward looks much cleaner. For weeks, Bitcoin has been consolidating around 120K. This is classic accumulation. The longer the consolidation, the bigger the eventual move. It's like a beach ball held underwater. The longer you hold it down, the more forcefully it shoots up when released. So what comes next? Bitcoin breaks 120K with conviction. The next logical target is 150K. And remember, this isn't just speculation. Every cycle, when Bitcoin breaks resistance after long consolidation, the moves are explosive. Now, here's where many people get it wrong. Some say, I'll sell when Bitcoin hits 1 million. But if Bitcoin gets to 1 million, that doesn't mean it stabilizes there. If it reaches 1 million, the very forces that drove it there could drive it to 10 million, even 100 million. Think about its fiat currencies are constantly being devalued. Just look at history. Zimbabwe, Argentina, Turkey. When faith in currency weakens, hard assets skyrocket. Bitcoin is more than price action. It's an exit from a broken system. And right now, the data suggests we're not at the end of the story. The idea of diminishing returns might not apply here. Bitcoin is still in the steep part of the S-curve of adoption, not the tail end. Which means the biggest moves might still be ahead. Now let's talk Ethereum, the number 2 by market cap, but the number 1 in utility. In recent weeks, over 700,000 ETH, worth more than $3 billion, was unstaked. At first glance, that sounds bearish. But dig deeper. Most of that was simply profit-taking after a strong rally. And here's the key: Ethereum ETFs are stepping in to absorb that supply. That's a massive safety net. Meanwhile, companies are beginning to treat ETH the same way they treated Bitcoin a few years ago, as a treasury asset. They're buying now before governments and institutions catch up. That demand is only going to increase. Vitalik himself made an important point. The biggest risk to each isn't demand, it's leverage. If markets over-leverage each, a 30% dip could cause a cascade of liquidations: 50%, 70%, even 90%. That's the nightmare scenario. But the good news is this: the Ethereum community and the institutions building around ETH tend to be more responsible than the reckless players we saw in the past. Think Luna and Do Kwon. As long as leverage doesn't spiral out of control, Ethereum remains one of the most solid bets in crypto. Add to that its central role in DeFi, NFTs, and staking, and ETH is a firm yes. Next up is Solana, a chain that just refuses to slow down. Solana's biggest advantage is its adaptability. Its developers have made it clear: if another chain builds something better, Solana will just adopt it. They don't care about ideology or purity, they care about performance. Increase bandwidth, reduce latency, and keep improving user experience. That's the philosophy, and it's working. Solana recently rolled out Kora, which allows users to make transactions without even holding Sol for gas. That's a massive step toward mainstream adoption because it removes friction for new users. In short, Solana has proven itself not only fast and cheap, but also agile. And that's why it consistently earns a spot alongside Bitcoin and Ethereum as one of the strongest projects in the space. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Tokenization. Ondo Finance is at the forefront, tokenizing institutional-grade financial products. The idea is simple but powerful: bring traditional finance on-chain. And even the SEC has signaled it's open to this shift. Commissioner Hester Peirce herself said they're willing to work with firms exploring tokenized securities. Then there's Chainlink, which is quietly becoming the backbone of tokenization infrastructure. Founder Sergey Nazarov said we're currently at less than 1% of real-world assets tokenized. That means 99% of the opportunity is still ahead. Think about what that means. Stocks, bonds, real estate, commodities, moving on-chain. The size of the tokenization market could dwarf the entire cryptocurrency market we know today. Even if Bitcoin goes to 1 million, that's tiny compared to the trillions upon trillions in traditional assets waiting to be digitized. Tokenization is the bridge between crypto and the real world. And Ondo and Chainlink are two of the clearest plays in that narrative. If you're looking for the sectors that could define the next decade, this is it. Before we wrap up, let's not forget another sector showing signs of life: crypto gaming. In July alone, gaming investment in crypto jumped 84%. Projects like Star Atlas are launching new features, signaling that developers are ready for the next wave of adoption. In past cycles, gaming has always been one of the strongest narratives for altcoins, and it looks like that pattern is repeating. So where does that leave us? Bitcoin has closed its CME gap and looks ready for a parabolic breakout. Ethereum demand from Treasuries is growing fast, with leverage as the main risk. Solana continues to adapt and innovate, staying near the top. Tokenization led by Ondo and Chainlink could be the biggest narrative of the decade. And crypto gaming is heating up once again. The trend is clear. We're still early in this bull run, and the opportunities are massive. Now, I want to hear from you. Which sector excites you the most? Bitcoin's March 215 OK? Ethereum's treasury demand? Solana's adaptability? Or the rise of tokenization? Drop your answer in the comments, smash the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily breakdowns.